is enough said.
What's up, Heat Nation? Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video. Guys, this is video number 2 of the day, so you know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, because we're pushing to 6,000 subscribers. Now, please join me as we go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure. And look, let's be honest, Heat fans, we're all pissed. Every Miami Heat fan is pissed today. Because if you were wanting to see the Miami Heat contend and go after a playoff push, you got disappointed in this playoff series with the sweep. But for those of us that wanted to tank, not make the playoffs, to have few first-round draft picks in this upcoming draft, you're pissed as well because the Heat didn't do that. So every Miami Heat fan is pissed right now. So right now, we need to discuss what's the possibility moving forward for this Miami Heat team. Now, like I mentioned, this is my second video of the day. I cut a video earlier today talking about what some of the possibilities the Miami Heat can do. Is it, you might have some contract flexibility this offseason. You have Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, who's on expiring contracts. You have other players that are going to be on expiring contracts as well. You have a tradable contracts like Andrew Wiggins. Tyler Hero, maybe Bam Adebayo might become available. You saw Bam Adebayo and Coach Spo talk about changes need to be made this offseason. But one of the changes that we haven't really touched on, you guys, I mentioned it a few days ago on a recent episode, but I'm bringing this up, you guys, because Stephen A. Smith on First Take today mentioned something that I want to talk to you guys about. And I'm probably sure you guys hear my kids in the background. I'm sorry, you guys. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. They're crazy loud. And when they come home, it's just impossible to do these. So I'm going to do this video. If you hear some noise in the background from my kids, I do apologize. But I want to talk about this, you guys, because it's something that I think needs to be discussed. And I think it's something that needs to be talked about. Stephen A. Smith mentioned today in ESPN First Take that he thinks it's time for Pat Riley to step down as the team president for the Miami Heat. And I mentioned this a few days ago, you guys, but I didn't really do a full detailed episode on it. Father Time is undefeated, ladies and gentlemen. We all know that. And that's not just for sports. That's for anything in life. There's going to come a time in life where you cannot do things to the same ability that you used to do. And that's exactly what Stephen A. Smith talked about today. Stephen A. Smith said, he said, I hope the players became better from it. But damn, it was humbling. Miami Heat coach Erik Spoelstra said after Game 4, this series was humbling. Bam Adebayo told reporters after Game 4 that he expects Heat president Pat Riley to make a lot of changes this summer. However, Stephen A. Smith of ESPN had an even tougher stand for Riley. This is what Stephen A. Smith said. It's time for Pat Riley to move on as president for the Miami Heat. You have to get people to want to come to Miami, and Riley is not that guy anymore. That was one of the quotes. This is another quote. The Heat hasn't won a title since 2013. They reached the NBA Finals in 2020 and 2023, but lost on both occasions. What Stephen A. Smith was, Riley is a Hall of Famer. He's considered one of the smartest basketball minds of all time. However, he's managed to make Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James angry and wasn't able to acquire Damian Lillard in 2023. Pat Riley's 80 years old. It's unknown how much longer he wants to work. But if it were up to Stephen A. Smith, Riley wouldn't be with Miami next season. Stephen A. Smith also mentioned that he feels that Erik Spoelstra should be the team president for the Miami Heat. And for those of you that remember, I cut an episode a few days ago and I posed the same question. Maybe it's time that we need a change in the front office. Maybe it's time for the Miami Heat to do what the Boston Celtics did when Brad Stevens moved up to the front office and they made Ime Udoka the coach, and then it became Joe Maluza. You know, Erik Spoelstra has a relationship with players, especially when he was the coach of Team USA, with big players like Kevin Durant, Anthony Edwards, just to name a few. They know Spo. The last superstar that Pat Riley got on this Miami Heat team was back in 2004 when he traded for Shaquille O'Neal. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say Pat Riley was the godfather and threw the rings on the table and lured LeBron James and Chris Bosh to come over here, but let's be honest, you guys. It was Dwayne Wade who lured LeBron James and Chris Bosh here. We know that. We know that there were discussions between the three, and the only reason why it was happened was, I will give Riley and Andy Ellsberg credit, they were able to shed the salary to make three players become available with this team to create the big three, but it was Dwayne Wade that was orchestrating and leading through everything. And then back in 2019, when Pat Riley and the Miami Heat traded for Jimmy Butler, it wasn't Pat Riley that convinced Jimmy Butler to come here. It was Dwayne Wade. The last season of the Miami Heat game in 2019, when Philadelphia played against Miami, Jimmy Butler saw how the crowd reacted to Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade sold Jimmy Butler on Heat culture. So the last time that you can really say that Pat Riley landed a whale was Shaquille O'Neal back in 2004. What's happened since the Miami Heat traded for Jimmy Butler? The best players that they were able to lure to come to Miami was Kyle Lowry and Terry Rozier. You struck out on James Harden. You struck out on Kawhi Leonard. You struck out on Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant multiple times. But the biggest one was in 2023, when Damian Lillard specifically requested to come to the Miami Heat and Pat Riley couldn't get the job done. Pat Riley is old school, you guys. He has a certain way. His mindset is catered to the 80s and 90s style. That's not the way the NBA is anymore, you guys. I've mentioned this. What did NBA players used to do? You don't want to give me my extension? Fine. I'm going to ball out the final year of my contract and I'm going to go get paid somewhere else. Look at Jimmy Butler. He didn't have to do that. He whined, bitched, and cried the whole time this season. And he got what he wanted, which was a maximum contract with Golden State. Teams don't pay players off of what they can do. They pay players just for their names and just to avoid the drama. So this is the way that the NBA is going, you guys, and it's time. And maybe it's time for a change to be made. Now, look, I'm not going to disrespect the Godfather. I have faith in Pat Riley. I still feel that Pat Riley can make some swings. But if you're trying to sell some superstar players to come here, like Giannis Antetokounmpo, Anthony Edwards, Nikola Jokic, just to name a few, you got to put a face that they know, a face that they admire. And at this stage, you guys, it's Erik Spoelstra. And you have some coaches on this team, you guys, like Eric Glass, Caron Butler, Chris Quinn, Malik Allen. I mean, mainly I'm looking at Eric Glass, Chris Quinn, and Caron Butler to be the next guys as the head coach. Any of those guys can take the job. Spo can move to the front office. So Heat Nation, I want to hear from you. Out of all the recent blunders the last few years, do you think it's time for Pat Riley to step down? Do you think it's time for Erik Spoelstra to move in as team president? Maybe for one of these new coaches to take over. Let me know what you think in the comments, Heat Nation. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe as we continue our push for 6,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for the continued support. I do apologize for the noise in the background. Like I said, got two little girls. They're here from school. So I got to do what I got to do. But appreciate you guys. And until next time, your boy Ernest out. And that is enough said.